Here we are, everybody. Recording in progress. Everybody, welcome. Here is the amazing, the awesome Ann Wilkinson. I'm Joey, and we're gonna be having a cool conversation today. Conscious, cool conversation about bodies, minds, hearts, the wholeness of your soul, basically, basically, you know. And I'm here with a colleague of mine, a teacher of mine, a friend of mine, and a person who will soon be a bit of a student. What a interesting thing to speak, as I know she is also, so to me, a teacher. Before she says anything, I'll read a quick bio, unless she wants to say something real quick. What do you think? You want to say something real quick, Dan? Or shall I read the bio?
Please, go ahead.
Okay, cool. So, Ann Wilkinson, in Sanskrit named Amoga, means nothing compares. And I asked her about this, by the way, and she had a really cool answer to that. Maybe she'll tell us this nothing compares philosophy almost. It's really beautiful. Okay. She's traveled the world with the main purpose to study healing modalities. She's enhanced her commitment recently to public education and body awareness, has a 10-year award-winning, or is a 10-year award-winning columnist and a physical therapist for 40 years. Her career has blossomed into one where she's had exposure to the finest remedies and healing tools from all over the world. She's handpicked those that apply to orthopedics, rehabilitation, tissue repair in a very intuitive way, allowing the fascial systems of both herself and her client to fully present and merge. Knowledge will flow. What do you want? She asks. Now let's make sure you are caring for your body along the way, that it makes the journey the best it can. Let's make sure you show up in your highest physical form. Ancient secrets, quantum physics, and nature applied to modern diagnosis wrapped in love. You have, by caring well for the body, wholeness at your fingertips, in your home, in nature, and in your kitchen or apothecary. There is a little bit more, but that didn't. Hold on one second, dear. Am I still on here, by the way?
You're on here.
Okay.
I see your picture.
Okay. Okay, here we go. There's no comparison when you have understanding, your basic tools and love. Wise woman, PhD, osteopathy, homeopathy, and Ayurvedic wisdom can fill into you for healing the call of yourselves, your meditative state, and the bones and muscles between. Together, let's heal each other and heal the whole world. Beautiful. So it's an honor to be with you, and I hand the mic over to you to speak a little bit for yourself.
It's funny, when you mentioned Amoga Life, you reminded me when I was in India, it must have been easily 10 years ago, and we did a naming ceremony, and I got the name Amoga. And they, these men don't speak English really well, and they're trying to explain to you, what does that mean? And basically they were saying, like, you can have chocolate that you love, and then you can have a chocolate that you like even more, and then you can have, there's chocolate like, there's just nothing like it. Nothing even comes close, And so we can live our life like that. We think that, I always thought that you're born, and you have everything that you need, and then slowly through life things get taken away, or they get injured or mangled, and not many people focus on repair. And repair doesn't just happen like when you're sewing two pieces that were torn apart together. Repair, it happens in a way that you can see it, in a way that you can't see it, in a way that you can feel it, and it can affect your intentions for everything that you do. So I was a medical professional in the rehabilitation model for many, many years. And there might be times towards the end of a treatment, somebody would get very emotional, and meanwhile we're governed by a clock in there and your functional units, and you're just like, oh, maybe next week we can get into this, now's not a good time. And that's not really fair to do to somebody when you're working on their fascial system and you're working on their body accessing trauma. You kind of have to be, a little more flexible and going with the flow of what's presenting itself at the time. And then, certainly we learned things, things were in a very protocolish type of a form, but sometimes healing would happen better if you allowed yourself to follow the client, allowed yourself to stay just one hair behind that wave and allow them to unwind and relive injuries and trauma for that to truly be released from their body. And that couldn't always happen in some of the treatment settings where there's just a little, sterile curtain in between you and someone else. And I just started to realize that the chrome-plated machines and the newfangled ways that we had to do rehabilitation, that some of the God-given things that were just growing right at our fingertips, depending on what continent you are on, that they were better, that these things were better, and that you could apply ancient mysteries, things that are yogic, Ayurvedic, things that are even like, it's funny, I've noticed in Jamaica, the Rasta and the Ital is just like the yogi, and the sattvic food, it's just in each culture there's like a bush doctor that's just committed to knowing the herbs of the land and all the secrets and the old midwives. And yes, we got brand new shiny equipment and things in the last 200 years, but certainly we could not replace what we've learned over thousands and thousands of years. It may seem that way, but we always find out in the end that the price is very high, and that some of these very basic things are actually, they can reverse age, they can reverse damage, they can, and they don't take the cost out on your physiology. Some of these things we think are shortcuts, they actually cost us in our kidneys, our liver, our minds, our thought processes. So when I say Amoga, I really feel like I've handpicked from, and I was so fortunate to study with the masters, Joey. I couldn't have made it happen the way that it did, but I really did get to study with Janet Travell, John Barnes, Freddie Carlton Bourne. I've got to study with Robin McKenzie, like right up close and personal, even work in some of their facilities and learn some of their mannerisms and actually see them so successfully treat people. And that's a gift. That was a gift from God. And I would love to be able to share it. I would like more people to know how to do what I do. You won't find what I do in the standards of practice. They come from too many continents. It takes too long. There's things I learned even within the context of continuing education for physical therapists, where we were told what you're doing is wrong and causing herniations of the low back. This is what actually works. That was in 1982. It still hasn't quite made it into the standards of practice. Like, technically anybody who learned this way and is doing it is not following the orders. The orders, unfortunately, what we're told to do and taught in school, really has a bad outcome. So I decided that I didn't want to fit what I do into codes any longer. I didn't want to follow the statutes that even 60 years later, more, 40 years later, still, aren't keeping up with the modern changes. And I also there was more energy and non tactile things that I was doing that didn't fit into the medical model. So very much intuition, very much, I hear a lot of times what to do in my left ear. Boy, try to write that into a progress note for an insurance. I heard to do that. And when I said it, the patient said they heard the same thing too. Like, okay, that would be a great, but it gave me permission to work a little bit outside the boundaries, to color outside the lines, let's say, with my client. And that freedom, ability to work within all the frameworks of the body, all the bodies, the ones that we can see, and the bodies, the electromagnetic bodies that we can't actually see.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
osteopathy kind of looks at the osteopathy. That was the certificate, the last degree that I got in osteopathy. It really taught us to look at a whole being and to use nature as a way to access the spirit. And so I really like that. And so I spend a lot more time in nature with my clients now.
Mm-hmm.
And that sometimes I put them on horseback or put them into the creek or into a pool or into a hot spring. Last week I was treating someone in the water in the hot spring, and it worked out really. No table in the way.
Yeah, sister. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I love having you like in my course, actually. Like, it's such an honor because you come from like the world of officialdom, or you have that, like, and you have given it up, you know. You were in the bureaucratic world, and you've betrayed the bureaucratic world, and that you appreciate my work, having not ever come from the bureaucratic world. Like, I believe that the best practitioners create for themselves a curriculum, and that it's very holistic, the curriculum. So now I'm creating for myself a curriculum where, hey, you want to take my class? Wow, what an honor. Can I make you a deal that you also teach me too? You know, now I got this teacher here. I've had, you know, many others. Obviously, we hung out with some of the same, well, Dr. Naram anyways. And
Yes.
and my courses in the past, you know, inviting, hey, will you come teach this to them? Hey, will you come teach that? You know,
I
people
you're
can
not
create for them.
I like that you're not right on the table, that your therapy is three-dimensional, and that you get people five-dimensional, really, that you get them off the table, you get them into these yogic positions, you use every bit of body mechanics. I like the way that you have more than one body part moving at the same time, so you can't get fixated, and that it kind of catch a little bit by surprise, so that I can't guard against what you're about to do. Like, I enjoyed so much getting a treatment from you and watching you also. That's really, really fun, watching you treat someone. That's really great.
Yeah, and yeah, um, the treatment I received from you was, you know, amazing and
Thank-
subtle, and certainly something I want to learn from. I don't know what you'll do. I'm not, or maybe you don't fully know what you'll do for our 3-hour workshop. I know there's so many things you can do about diet and about things that don't have specifically to do with touch or something like that. So anyways, we'll see what
I can get a
you
baseline from the group. I wouldn't want to, if there's things they already have fully embraced, I could move on from there. I certainly have many levels, for which I could teach. So I'll focus some uh, discussion in the beginning, kind of see where people are and see where they want to go, and then see where I can come in and help,
yeah.
illuminate some of the things from medical diagnoses, questions that people ask, to take it from there. There's some basics I
Yeah,
like to know, and then, can take it from there.
cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to how your influence changes my teaching and changes my practice. I'm sure it will. I'm sure we'll both, anytime we meet somebody that's like, oh, you're a practitioner, oh, you're a teacher, oh, heck yeah. For
Yeah.
heaven's sake, this will be cool. The mashing of dimensions nicely. So yeah, I love that, this, like, you take people out into nature and stuff. And, it doesn't seem that, like, with being extremely bureaucratic, it lends itself to even being able to do that. I sometimes it's like, hey, what do you do? I'm like, I take you crawl through the river. We crawl through the river for an hour up the rapids, and then we go and work out kettlebell, and then I give you a massage and we have a meal. That's like my, it's very like heart-centric, very like trust forward kind of, I really think probably the best health practitioners live on some mountain, and they're wild, and they don't speak anybody's language but their own, but when you come, they're probably like, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm kind of like making an archetype of something that is an extremely like.
Ram's master was like that.
Oh yeah, he was, eh?
He had to go up into the Himalayas to meet him, and he was
Oh
130.
yeah. Yeah, and did he have anyways, did he
And he
have
wouldn't see
any
Dr. Ram for 100 days until Dr. Ram cleaned the bathroom.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That's the cool teaching. See, like you can't like you
That's
can't
nature.
yeah, that's nature. Yeah, perfect. You can't structuralize all that stuff, you know? There's so um let's see here. What why is it that what are you excited about coming to the course for? What do you think? What are you hoping the course will get from somebody like yourself who already knows so much?
I like being able to treat like on a hay bale, on a picnic bench, I don't really like being tied to my table. And I also like to work more in an emergency setting. So not like I have to get you from here to my treatment table in my office, which is how many miles away, whatever. Like, and so I feel like I'm going to learn a lot about, like, I just remember seeing you having someone almost like in Lizard on the steps and things like that. Like there's like to reproduce postures where people were injured so they may relive them and things like that. I really feel like what I'm going to learn in your class is going to lend to that aspect of what I do. I take people off the table a lot, let them come, like slide off the table. Sometimes they'll have a rebirthing and that kind of thing. So I think that I'm going to learn a lot about positioning people in different ways and having different access points as far as getting the fascia in a position where it is reminded of a trauma and it wants to revisit it and release it. Like I really think that what I learned from you is going to help me in that part of what
Oh,
I
that's
do.
so cool to hear. That's so cool to hear. And I know that your influence in my practice is going to be really helpful for me. I know that in many ways, and I just can see that for sure. You have a lot more official knowledge than I do, because you've been through those licensing things and stuff. So anyway, yeah, we're going to be playing here in Utah the third weekend in August. And it'll be the 19th through the 22nd. We're going to have really cool people there, myself and Ann and a bunch of other cool people. Like it's just building so amazingly. So if you're curious or interested, hit me up at Heart Hiker on the Facebook. I'll put some information there, my phone number. Yeah, sure. Send me a text, most likely 408-750-7173, and I'll put it in writing around here too. If people want to reach out to you, are you reachable? Do you want to be reachable? Do you have
Well,
a
did
way to reach?
you also on Yoga Massage Academy, something like
Oh
that?
yeah, yeah, yogamassageacademy.com will right now it reroutes to the Facebook event page. And even if you don't have a Facebook account, you can look that up on your browser. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah.
And I'm Ann Wilkinson in Landenberg, Pennsylvania. And I do have a site, Amoga Life. I haven't been posting on it for some time, but I usually put kind of medically related articles on there. So you're reminding me to maybe get back on there and do some of that.
Yeah, another thing is that, Ann's developed her business so interestingly too. We'll talk a lot about those kinds of things, like the social aspects, like what to do creatively and all that stuff. I just reminded when you tell me about, yeah, she's got such a cool position in her life, and so yeah. Hit me up in regards to this for sure. I guess if you have questions for Ann about anything, are you available to? I mean, I don't want to send you a bunch of questions about people coming to the course necessarily, but if you have questions to Ann, if you want to reach out to her about her work.
I love answering questions. Yes, no
Okay,
problem.
perfect. Come out. We'll have a ton of fun. Like I said, send me information, then I'll send you a form to fill out if you're interested, and we'll talk about how to make it happen, everybody. All right. This has been fun to talk to you. We had a nice, cool conversation right before, too. It's always great to connect with you, sister. Love you.
Love you too, very much.
All right. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Have a good day. Ciao, ciao.